On Labor Day morning, I had a car accident that killed her. I crashed my car. My car blew up into flames, and she was taken. And I was pregnant, and I didn't know it.
I'm a former Detroit police officer and rode with the One Percenter Motorcycle Club. During that time, I was involved in a lot of altercations. I had a gun shoved in my face. The trigger was pulled, and I got a plate under my left eye. I'm Manny Vitale, and this is my story. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Manny Vitale, host of My Fight or War, and we are back here in our second home in Connecticut in our studios, and having just a great time. It's been a busy few days here. We've been doing a little bit of extra. You know, we came in a couple days early and shot some videos with the one and only, the extraordinary producer, Matt Cronin. We were upstairs in the studio doing some shots up there, and then of course our interviews with our amazing family members. And today is no exception. Today we've got Tammy Binnette, who is our guest, and you know this is kind of keeping it in the family. You know, like, you guys know how I feel about family. My Fight or War. We are all one family. Mm-hmm. But we actually had a daughter on here, daughter, mom being Tammy, and daughter Dana was on our show. And I tell you what, just amazing. And the things that we learned, say just so much about you as well. So, Tammy, thank you for coming on. And you know what?
Thank you for having me, Manny.
Oh, my pleasure. You know, well, why don't you start off by just telling us a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from.
So, my name is Tammy. I'm an alcoholic and an addict. I grew up in Danbury all my life. Growing up in Danbury, my father was a hatter. He made the Stetson hats.
Really?
Yeah. And but he was the drunk in the family. And I didn't have a close relationship with my dad until 2 years prior to his death. And it was me and my baby brother, who just passed away last year. We were the outsiders. And my sister and my brother, they took after Dad. And, but we had Mom. And my parents did the best they could with what they had. Mm-hmm. My father was the worker in the family. My mother didn't work. So back in the day, way back in their day, mm-hmm. Southbury Training School was a school for kids whose parents couldn't control them.
No.
My father was an orphan. My mother had some problems at home, I'll just say that. Mm-hmm. And my grandfather, I just know family on my mother's side. I don't know my father's side.
Okay.
So my mother and father met in Southbury Training School. So they did the best they could when they had us. They met there, they got married. And like I said, my dad was a hatter, and he was a hatter when I was born. And he kept that job until I was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. But I used to see my father come home drunk all the time and beat on my mom. And I wanted nothing to do with alcohol when I used to hate people who were drunk.
After seeing that.
Yeah, just seeing, because I grew up around, I've always seen angry drunks around. Now, me, when I had my bout with the alcohol, I wanted to laugh. I wanted nothing to do with anger or frustration but anyway, so I watched that growing up. I remember my father coming home drunk all the time and beating on my mom. And my mom didn't do drugs or drink. And if she had a drink or two, she was drunk. So the addiction comes from my father. and that was very hard to watch. I grew up in foster homes, and I was taken from my parents at a young age, and
because of the abuse.
because of the abuse, and I guess my father got into a financial situation at one point, and so I was being bounced around. It would be me and my younger brother, and then the two in the middle would be together. So me and
all four?
Never all four of us together.
Geez.
So that was hard. Growing up, my brother George was always my protector. When my father would come home drunk, and he would make sure he went after him instead of us.
Your brother?
My brother George.
He would kind of get in the middle?
Yeah. And so then finally I turned about maybe 14, 13 years old. I went to school as far as 8th grade. I got into 9th and I quit. So at like 14, I went and I lived with tried to stay with my mom. It was hard kind of because she only had a one room,
Oh, yes.
or a studio. Yeah. So I was a mama's girl, and I wanted to be a daddy's girl too, but my father was only my daddy by name. I really never got to be close to my father until he died, until 2 years prior to his death. So I left wherever I was at. I went and I stayed with my mom, but she would wake me up for school, and I would skip school. I'd go up around the corner and I'd stay at a friend's house, and I'd clean her house and hang out with the boys all day, smoking weed. Then life took a toll. When I met the father to Dana and her brother Christopher, and I was about 15 years old when I met him, and I met him at a soup kitchen in Danbury. Wow, smart choice, Tammy. And up until then, I was smoking weed. I had my bout with alcohol, with vodka. Me and my girlfriends would have these friends of ours go into Maury's liquor store and get some vodka for us, or some rum, Bacardi. And we'd get drunk down Main Street in Danbury. And we'd just walk up and down and hang out with these two guys that we had crushes on downtown.
And this was, you said, about 14
or
so?
About 14, 15, yeah. And I had a lot of friends growing up as a kid. And Dana says, damn, you know a lot of people. Well, yeah, I do know a lot of people. I was a good girl once, too, And now I'm back to being that person that everybody loved. So I met her father, and he says, hey, you want to try some cocaine? And I was like, yeah. So I started off sniffing cocaine. Now, before then, I was just drinking and smoking weed. Then I got pregnant with Dana's brother. He's my first. I smoked a lot of pot when I was pregnant. Thank God he came out okay. He actually was born with too much blood in his system, and they had to take blood from him.
Wow.
And I don't know how that happened, but so I had him for 2 years. But right after I had him, I got pregnant with Dana, and here she came a year and a half later. But with Dana, I was shooting cocaine 24/7. She was born addicted. She had a slight problem with her esophagus. And so I had Christopher for 2 years, Dana for 2 months, and they were gone. And I just felt my world leave right along with it. Because I chose drugs over my children. And when I say drugs got me, it got me to no end. I gave up my kids. I wasn't going to court like I was supposed to fight for them. And I gave them up because it was not a life for them to be in my life because of the drugs. And I did it because I wanted them to have a better life than I did. Mm-hmm. Did I ever think growing up as a kid I wanted to be a drug addict? Absolutely not.
No, that's like I tell people.
Absolutely not.
We never have a checklist. I get up in the morning, have breakfast, go to work. Oh, become a drug addict.
Right.
It's not on our list.
Absolutely not. So I've got some time in jail, back and forth in jail for possession. Little possessions, not big. So Dana's father, her biological father, used to beat me up.
The same thing you saw as a little child.
Yeah. And I gravitated, they tell you in rehab, you gravitate towards men who are like your father. Well, I did so. I used to think I deserved it. But I know now I didn't, regardless. So he used to beat on me, and I used to hide because I was so afraid of him. And he would beat me in front of Christopher. And now Christopher was a mama's boy. And now he's a daddy's boy. But I'm grateful that he has a relationship with his father. And he's slowly but surely coming back into my life. I think he's using my daughter, Teresa, to do that. And I'm here with open arms to accept it. Because I want a relationship with all my kids, the 3 that I have left. I've had 5. So I've been going to jail throughout this whole time. And then I meet a guy who then becomes my husband. So Dana's father taught me the ways of the streets. Mm-hmm. I became a lady of the night. I would sell my body on the streets for money, for my habit. And not would I only do that, I would support myself and him too. So here goes cigarettes, eating. So I wasn't
drugs.
And they, whether they allowed it or not, I did it. But they were right there along with me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they ate with me and they smoked cigarettes with me and they, he did the drugs with me. So I finally, I've had some clean time in between, 3 months, a year. The longest I had before, I think I had 5 years before, but I wasn't in the program. Mm. I was in and out of the program, but I didn't get a sponsor. I didn't work the steps. And today I have a sponsor. I work the steps. I can be a sponsor. But so after I got done with Dana's father, 7 years of being thrown around and beaten up, and I go into a bar one night with my mom, and, she went for the dancing. She went for the country music, and I would go and keep my eye on her. Mm-hmm. After I came home from jail one night. And here comes this guy that I knew, and he has a friend with him. And some other guy was trying to pick me up and take me to the railroad tracks. I'm like, get out of here, man. Get me away from this guy. So I gravitated toward his friend, this guy that walked in the bar, and he became my husband. And I hate the day that I said, because I had said something to him, like after we met, I'm going to get you to do some cocaine with me. I regret that day that I said that. You
said that you were going to get him?
To do some coke with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Smoke. Mm-hmm. And I regret that day. I regret that coming out of my mouth ever. Well, I think he called me one night, or I was up there one night in his house, and he was sniffing all night. And I woke up and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, nothing, nothing. And I found out he was sniffing cocaine. But he became my knight in shining armor, my husband. And I got pregnant with my daughter, Mariah. And then I went on a run, smoking crack, because I could no longer shoot it with the needle. I took our home, our money from the bank account. I took everything from them and myself. And I would go on a rant. Now, meantime, when I met my husband, I got a job. I was a CNA. He had a job. I would work a shift where I could be with the baby, and then I could get him, and he could be with the baby. This is Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
And just drugs took everything from me. It's so hard. And this is actually the weekend of my accident. And Monday morning,
sorry.
I had a car accident. On Labor Day morning, I had a car accident that killed her. I crashed my car. My car blew up into flames, and she was taken. And I was pregnant, and I didn't know it, with Teresa. And 32 years ago, Monday will have been, it's the anniversary. It'll be 32 years. And
so
she was
sorry.
just 1 month shy of turning 2, so she would be 34 this November. So that got me. I sat in my guilt and my shame, and I didn't want to live. I took everything from this man who loved me and gave me everything. And I found out I was pregnant when I had the accident with my now 32-year-old, who I thought would never, ever be in my life. And so there's Christopher, there's Dana. Then I got pregnant with Mariah, who passed. I was pregnant with Teresa, who is in my life today. And then I was in jail doing time for the accident. They wanted to throw me away and lock me away for life for the accident because I had drugs in my system. I only ended up getting, I think, 18 months. And they were talking 20 years because I was charged with manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter. And it kills me because, like I said, Manny, I never wanted this for myself.
You know, Tammy, when it comes to people that
I
I
didn't
talk
choose this life. It chose me. Well, I did. I guess I did.
The first time.
The
first time is a choice.
Yeah.
This disease is evil. And when I
They're
talk
very
to people who have loved ones who are in active addiction, they're like, they've never done, they say, man, why don't they just stop? Why don't they, they love me enough? And I try to explain to them, they love you so much. That's how I try to explain to them, that's how powerful addiction is, that your loved ones love you so much that they know.
Well,
that
that's
if they
why I
take
gave up on my kids, because I wanted them to have a better life.
Exactly.
Because I knew the drugs was taking me from them.
That's what it is.
And that's the love I had for them.
Yes.
You know, even though I wish I would have been there for them.
That's just trying to explain to people that have never done drugs. There's no way to do that unless sure. And but I try to explain it to them that way: is picture that there's a choice. You could go see your ma and your family for dinner, or you could do drugs.
Right. Yeah, I've never been invited to nothing. And when I was a kid, I was invited to everything. I lost all my family I had in my life. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I was going to bury 2 kids. And well, I didn't bury them, but did I ever think I was going to lose 2 kids? My mom and dad are gone, and now both my brothers are gone. And me and my sister are the only ones that are left. So all my family on my mother's side, her brothers and sisters, there's only 3 Purdy's left. And I'm involved in the kids' now life, but we have been separated for miles all our lives. But, you know.
But now.
Yeah, but now,
always,
so about 4 years. So my son, let me just go to my son
Sure.
after Teresa now. I got pregnant doing a trick for money in Virginia. And I used a condom. The condom broke, and I got pregnant with my son. And he was murdered. And I forgive the people that this all went down with. And Teresa and him lived together with my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law took him in. God bless that woman. She took him in and my daughter Teresa, and she raised them. And then they got adopted by a school teacher and his wife. And my son turned 15 years old, August 2nd. I'm July 26th, my birthday. His birthday's 1 week to the day after mine. I had him 1 week after my birthday. He was born August 2nd. And I had Teresa for 2 years. I had Mariah for 2 years. And I had Christopher for 2 years. So Dana and Tyler, the baby, I only had them for 2 months. So I got into this position where I had to ask Brian's mom to step in because they were coming to take Teresa and Tyler. And, this is what happened. I was up all night smoking crack. I went to sleep boiling a bottle on the stove. And I forgot the bottle was on the stove. The bottle's burning away on the stove. And my apartment was full of smoke. And I was this close to having the firefighters knock my door in. I got up at the last moment and I heard something, because I had been up all night smoking crack the night before. And the smoke alarm was going off. Somebody else called the fire department. And I opened it just as they were going to pound it in. And so the state stepped in, of course, and they were going to take my kids. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm giving them to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is capable of taking them. And thank God for that woman. I thank God for her life, because she's no longer here with us, and that hurts a lot. But I wish she was, because she'd see who I am today. But she stepped in. She took my son and my daughter. And then as school came in their lives, they started going to school, and they really liked this one teacher. And then they stepped in and said, because my mother-in-law was getting old. So if you need us to help, we'll help, and we'll take over. And they ended up adopting Teresa and Tyler. And then on his 15th birthday, right after his 15th birthday, there was a burglar in the area. That's what I heard. And he was on the computer with his friend, and he snuck out of the house through his window. He was a very good kid, though. And he started making noise over at his aunt's house of the father who adopted him. And she called the father, and he was a licensed gun holder. So she called the father, and this is all what I heard. I don't know if it's the truth. But I'm just going by what I was told. Or if any of it's the truth. So what I heard was he had a ski mask on his face. He was on the computer. First, he was on the computer with his friend from school. And then he was talking to him. Everything was fine. And then I guess he put on this ski mask, and he climbed out his window. And she called the father, and he was a licensed gun holder. I believe her first call should have been to the police station regardless. Well, because of the burglar being in the area at that time. Well, what I heard was the guy, she called her son, who was his father, and he came out, and my son had a kitchen knife in his hand, and he went to lunge at the guy. So the guy shot him. I don't know how true it is, but I heard he shot my kid 9 times, and whether you're shooting to kill or not, I don't believe he should have shot I don't believe my kid should have been shot 9 times. I forgive these people because the good Lord has forgiven me. And I learned how to have a relationship with God so I can have a relationship with myself and others. So anyway, 7 years ago, I got a lot of tragedy in my story. It's horrible. I was not allowed near this whole thing with my son. I wasn't talking to Teresa at the time. So in this time, Teresa and Christopher built a bond. Christopher found her, my oldest son, and Teresa. Dana is his biological sister. And apparently right now, he wants nothing to do with Dana. And he didn't want nothing to do with me either when Teresa said, I'm going to look for Tammy. But by the grace of God, I believe God is using Teresa to bring him into my life. Because just this summer, on my birthday, we had my grandson's birthday. And he came and he gave me a hug. And when he was leaving, he said, you want to bring the baby out?
Wow. Hey, it's a first step.
So the first step is for me, I had to admit, so 7 years ago, my life was saved again. Mm-hmm. So in the accident, my life was saved. Teresa's life was saved because I found out I was pregnant with Teresa. And nothing was wrong with her when she came out of me. So thank you, Lord. I thank God for all my children. I regret the fact that Dana was born addicted, you know. Mm-hmm. And Tyler was addicted too, because I smoked crack with Tyler too. I think I got off the drugs for a while when I was pregnant with Teresa because of that whole situation with the car accident. Actually, no, I can't say that. When I had the accident, I fell into a deep depression because I didn't know what happened. I was in a coma for like a week, but I kept complaining about my hip I was under. And come to find out, I had broken my sternum. Mm-hmm. I had bit my lip, and I had damaged my hip. So I was in traction for 6 weeks with a pin in my leg, and I found out I was pregnant with Teresa. They found out I was pregnant with Teresa. And, so I went into a deep depression after I woke up from the coma and I was let go. And then I had to turn myself in. Jeez. So, I was in jail, and I had Mariah in jail. My husband was not my husband at the time. And I had this all set up with the counselors in jail where he was coming to pick up Mariah. Well, he ended up coming to pick her up because when I had put this all together, they didn't know. They said, "Oh no, he can't take the baby. He's not her husband." I said, "Bull crap." I set this all up at the jail. So I get home, and then we get married. I have Teresa. I have the accident. I have Teresa. And then when I'm in jail, I'm telling him that I'm going to a halfway house in Waterbury. I go to the halfway house. They didn't want to let me out for Thanksgiving. They told me I could go home for Thanksgiving, and that pissed me off. And so I said, fuck this. I said, let's go. Come and get me with Teresa, and we're taking off. And we got a lawsuit through the accident because the police were in the wrong, because there was a restraining order from the Litchfield courthouse where the judge put in place. And then there was another one that he put on me, and they got him confused. And when the police came that night to the hotel in New Milford where I was, I told them about the restraining order, and they still arrested my husband, and they let me take Mariah in the car. They didn't know I was going out in the car, though, because I went to go get drugs in Danbury from New Milford. And on the way back is when I had the crash. My car blew up. My car was on fire. I fell asleep at the wheel of my car. You think all this stuff would say, okay, Tammy, duh, enough's enough. But it kept getting me deeper. I kept going deeper down the hole.
Yep.
So I end up finding out, coming out of this coma, that I was pregnant. But I kept yelling for Mariah in my coma because I knew something happened to my baby. I knew I had her. Consciously, I knew I had her. Mm-hmm. And then I found out she was dead when I woke up. Mm. And they had a service while I was in the coma. It's just devastating. So now, 7 years ago, I go to Vegas to be with a friend. I was going to go out to Vegas and take care of this girl that I knew. That didn't go as planned. But before I got on that plane to go to Vegas, I heard high. I was stoned out of my mind. God said, it's going to be all right, Tammy. He whispered it right in my ear. It just wasn't going to be in Vegas. It's going to be back here in Danbury.
Hey, it's God's time, not yours.
Yes, right. So I heard him when he told me that. Mm-hmm. High on crack. So I go to Virginia with my 4-month-old kitten at the time. He's a beast now. Mm. he's 30 pounds overweight. So I go to Vegas. I bring my cat with me, who's 4 months old. And they told me I had to get him licensed to get on the plane.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get him all his shots. Yep. Well, in Brookfield, his vet told me that he was going to be a big cat. He's got 6 toes on each of his front paws. He's a polydactyl cat, and he's gray and white, but he's beautiful. He's Russian blue. And so his name is Shadow. So me and Shadow get on this plane. We go to Vegas. My last night here, I'm high on crack. The crack was shit. I was pissed. I was spending my money. But, so, yeah, I go get on this plane. I get to Vegas, and this girl's nowheres to be found. She never showed up at the airport. What do? I call my godmother, crying like a baby. Ma, she's not answering the phone. She's not here in the airport waiting for me, blah, blah, blah. So she gets on the phone. She's like, what am I going to do with Tammy and Shadow? Well, while I'm in Vegas, she's trying to figure out what she's going to do with me here and who she can ask to help out. I go in, I stay in this hotel for 3 days. I'm out one day. I go across the street from the hotel. I leave the door cracked for Shadow. And I had him in his crate, or maybe not. And I can't remember, but I jaywalked across the street. Now, little do you know, when I was on Main Street getting drunk, me and my girlfriend used to play around with that. Don't jaywalk, you'll go to jail.
Well,
and sure enough,
went to jail.
I didn't go to jail. Sure enough, I got to Vegas and they saw me jaywalk. And they turned right around and came right after me. And they stopped me because I asked somebody how much a pack of cigarettes was. They thought I was asking for drugs. Where can I find drugs? you got a record, you got your ID. I'm like, no, no, no. Yes, I got a record. I'm from Connecticut. And what else do you want to know? I ain't got nothing to hide. So I said, I'm in a hotel across the street. All my shit is over there, all my ID and stuff. Can you take me across the street? Oh, no, we can't do that. We're right across the street. I said, my cat's over there. I said, they're like, what are you doing? I said, I'm asking somebody how much cigarettes are here because I'm not from here. Well, how long you going to be here? I'm like, oh, my God, are you fucking for real? And they called my name in to Connecticut, and they found out, yeah, I had a record, but I wasn't wanted for nothing. So they let me go. Well, you better get out of here quick. I said, listen, I'm waiting for them to bring me back, to get out. Don't ever come back here again. And I get this scam call today, and they said, oh, you got these 5 trips. You can pick wherever you want to go. What's the first one they said? You can go to Las Vegas. And I said, no. Thanks. I said, no, thank you. I don't want nothing to do with Vegas. So I come back here. She found my godparents brought a couple to church. I go to Lighthouse Ministries on West Street in Danbury. I've been there for like 20 years, on and off. This couple that they brought to church, I got to be involved with more so both the woman and the man. It was a couple. They were a married couple. And I don't know, I gravitated towards the woman. And she called, my godmother Brenda called Judy and Ken. Said, Tammy's in Vegas. She's stuck there with Shadow. What can I do? Can you help me? And they helped. They brought me back. Wow. They put me in their home. Now, was I willing and ready at that moment? No, I wasn't. And I'm going to be honest. I was being conniving and I was being deceitful. But through all those lessons in the beginning, I've learned, So I believe in God. I'm a Christian, but I'm not religious. Look, I've been through some shit, Manny. If there wasn't a God, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. So, yes, I believe in the Lord with all my heart and soul. And I always did as a kid, too. We used to I remember going to Sunday school as a kid on Deer Hill Avenue, and the bus would come and pick us up. I lived in Fairfield Ridge when I was a young girl. So, excuse me. So now, I was living in their home, and they have a strong relationship with the Lord. And I really wasn't ready at that time. I was ready to quit the drugs, but I don't know what kept me from going right in with both feet. It took me a little while. And I was deceitful, and I did something in their home I shouldn't have done. And I regret it, but they didn't throw me out. And that's the biggest thing. They loved me until I could love myself. Wow. And they didn't kick me out when they should have just put me out on my ass. And that's how it was. And they allowed me to stay in their home. Then they brought another girl in. And all we did was fight, and we were friends on the streets. And I thank God for learning lessons, and it's about damn time I learned some lessons because, here I was 7 years ago. I was 51 years old, and it's about time I learned some lessons, and so it took me a little while, but they sat me down once a week. We had Bible study, and they told me how much the Lord loves me and forgives me. And, in the back of my head, I always believed in God, and I knew there was a God. But this relationship thing, I was missing.
It's when it's the right time, not your time.
Well, it was the right time.
Yep.
It was the right time, but it was being pushed I feel like kind of it was being pushed on me in the beginning. But then I stopped feeling like that. And I got into it. I jumped in with both feet. I have known this couple for the last 10 years. And they have been by my side with my blessings and everything. And they're still there. And they're helping Dana now.
That's
Dana
amazing.
lives with them. My daughter Teresa's in my life. Dana brought my granddaughters into my life 12 years ago. Now they're teenagers. I got to meet my grandson for the first time, who's 13. I have the baby. They just had a baby. She's going to be 2, or she just turned 2. It's just, my life is so full of joy right now. And the reason I talk about Teresa a lot is because I'm trying to have a relationship with Dana, and I love what we have, but I want more, and it's got to be in her time and God's time.
Yes, exactly.
And I don't want to push myself on her, so I stay away. And she's got to make that move if she wants it. I'm very grateful to her parents, very grateful, and I love them to death for taking care of her. And for my son, too, because they took care of my son and Dana. And, you know, I want a relationship with Christopher, too. So I think it's coming. It's...
You know what? Slow steps,
So
right?
I got right into AA when Judy and Ken brought me back. I have to talk about AA because that saved my life, too. I called the lady who I wanted to sponsor. I wanted her to sponsor me for years. She started picking me up at Judy and Ken's and taking me to the Wednesday night Deer Hill meeting in Danbury. And she says, Tammy, I got to be honest with you. I can't sponsor a cracker because I know nothing about it. I can sponsor an alcoholic because I know everything about it. So unless you tell me you're an alcoholic, I can't sponsor you because I don't know how to sponsor a crackhead. So I said, yes, I'm an alcoholic too. Because it all started with alcohol.
Exactly.
But I chose drugs. I chose the cocaine to be my drug of choice. And anyway, I've got the 12 steps in my life. I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I don't call her as often as I should, but I love her to death. And she's there for me whenever I pick up the phone to call her. And I had to admit to myself, I could always say I'm not an addict, or I could always say I'm an addict, but I couldn't accept it. So first of all, I had to accept that I was an addict. I had to accept that I wanted the help from Judy and Ken to show me how much God loved me and how to love myself so I could love others the way he loves me. I can never love anybody the way the Lord loves us. But he has me here for a reason. People have told me this my whole life. Now, this whole time, I'm out there using, my kids are taken away. The one thing I kept constant was my prayers to be reunited with my children.
And it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening,
happened.
Tammy.
It happened.
That is
and I
awesome.
love being a Mima. I love being a grandma.
Well, I tell you what, Tammy. You know,
had
we
it
always
rough.
hear
I had it rough.
you hear it all the time that it's in God's time, not our time.
Right,
And,
exactly.
You know, sometimes people will say, "Why? Why did I have to go through this?"
Right.
Well, to be where you are right now,
Right.
that joy that you said that you're feeling right now, how happy you are.
I am so
That's
joy.
just-
I have so much gratitude.
Well,
So much gratitude in my heart.
I tell you, it's
Manny, I
awesome.
can't even think of, let me tell you, God put a fear in me, and I'm so glad it's there. Because never in my wildest dreams did I want to be a streetwalker crackhead and intravenously putting a needle in my arm.
Like you said, Tammy, it's not on the to-do list for the day.
Right.
Yeah, what?
And one day at a time. And,
One day
and
at a time.
God brought me out of a hell that I could never think of ever being back in. And one day at a time is right. I go day by day. Yes, I can plan for a couple, maybe a week ahead. But other than that, I can't tell you nothing because I have no idea what's going to happen. But for today, I can
Today's
tell
a good day.
today is a good day. Even though it's a sad weekend, my daughter is allowing me to be around her and my grandkids for the whole weekend.
There you go.
And I couldn't ask for a better life.
Well, Tammy, we are so happy for you.
I
So
love my
happy for
life
you.
today. I don't want to die.
You know what? And if someone told me it's time to love Tammy,
Yeah,
love yourself.
yeah. And to
And,
be here and only have me and my sister in this life right now.
Well, and not only that, Tammy, but what you're doing right
I
here today.
love people. I want to help people.
And what you're doing now is by sharing your story, like I said earlier, someone's going to relate to something that you said. And you are saving lives today
Yeah.
by sharing this story. So thank you for that.
I let go and I let God.
Well, Tammy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Manny.
It's an absolute pleasure, to see this side. I've had people say, well, Manny, it's depressing what you do. It's sad. Well, yeah, at times. But you know what? Moments like this, seeing the smile on your face,
Yeah.
hearing the other side.
It means so much to be a Mima.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tammy, enjoy every minute of it. We are so happy for you. We're going to stay in touch with you
Yes.
and keep up with everything that's going on. As you know, we've had Dana on here,
Yeah.
so we'll be in contact too. But thank you again for being on here.
Thank you for having me.
And
It's been a pleasure.
If
And I pray that this will help somebody.
it definitely will.
Change your life today, brothers and sisters, because the life that's out there that we were living is not the life to keep living.
The life that you have today is so worth it.
It's so worth it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. And each one of these stories touches someone. So if it touched you, reach out and share that with somebody else. And as I always say, man, remember, addiction's only a word. It's not a death sentence.
That's right.
Love you guys. Keep fighting the good fight.